Shut up and sit down.
Episode 62 of No One Asked Us. He's Craig Choate. I'm Logan Lee. Happy Pets Day to all those out there that celebrate. Craig, did you celebrate your pets today?
I celebrate my pets every day.
Peter.
No, I did not. They are laying on the couch right now with mom watching HBO Max or something.
What a terrible dog parent you are. Don't even celebrate National Pets Day. But yes, we are here for another episode of No One Asked Us. We are recording this Monday evening, April 11th. Just a couple hours after the Brandon Murray decision, which we will touch on here shortly and how that affects Illinois basketball. Plenty to talk about this week, including some other Illinois basketball news, and then some various things from around the rest of the sports world, the same things that we usually do on this show. Before we get too much further, Craig, how you doing? You good?
Good.
Life is good?
It's Monday. It's been a struggling Monday. I've been a little more tired, I guess is the term. I don't know. I took a nap. I never take naps, but I took a nap. I rarely take naps because there was one time that you texted me right when I started napping and I didn't respond because I was napping, but I took a nap today and I'm just tired today. I don't know why.
Did you have an exciting weekend? Did you do anything else other than sit on your couch and watch the Masters?
I didn't leave the couch, so I don't know why. But yeah, it was a struggle for today, but we're here.
Apparently, Tiger put you on an emotional roller coaster that you're still trying to recover from.
I guess. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, as I said, plenty to talk about, so we're going to get right into it. First off, like, subscribe, share, all that stuff, please. Wherever you're listening to this, give us a follow, give us a like, comment, ask us questions down in the comment section. Let us know where you're listening, where you're watching. We appreciate that stuff too. Looking to grow this page a little bit here and there every day. Also give us a follow on all of our social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. We're on all of it now. So maybe next time we'll have a TikTok. You going to create a TikTok for us, Craig?
I've had a TikTok for like 3 years and I've posted twice.
Yeah, I don't think I posted anything. So you're ahead of me there. So,
I watch it, but I don't post.
Yeah, I spend way too much time on it watching other people post, but I don't post anything myself. All right, let's move on. First off, moment of the week for you. Go.
I'm going to go two-prong here.
Okay.
And one is just going to be a quick mention, and it is Tiger Woods repping the red and black today. I was just so happy to see him play the Masters. We'll talk about it more when I break down the Masters, because Logan will have no input on that, but we'll talk about talk about that. You're wearing your green. That makes sense. I like it. You're wearing your green. Okay.
Masters Monday.
I was just so excited to see Tiger playing golf again. So that is probably my number one moment, but I know we'll talk about that in the show. So I'm going to have something else here. Opening day on Thursday or whatever day it was, and not just opening day, but for me, seeing Albert, Yachty, and Waino on the field, all three in Cardinals uniforms again, was just like super nostalgia, like all up in the feels moment, and I loved every second of it. I know I tweeted it and I posted it and I probably texted it to you when the Cardinals signed Albert. I said, I will not stop smiling. Like I told you, I don't care if he bets 0.68 this year, hits 2 home runs. Like, I don't care. I'm just happy to see all three of them back in the Cardinals uniform. Yachty has said it's his last year. Albert has said it's his last year. Everyone assumed it was Wainwright's last year, but he has already multiple times in the last 2 weeks been like, hey, hold on. I had a pretty good year last year. Let's see how this year goes. I might not be done. He's pumped the brakes on those, but just the start of this season with those three, I think this is probably Wainwright's last year as well. But if he has another good year, maybe not. It's just going to be awesome to watch this last ride, especially with those two in Cardinals uniforms. And the other day was the start of it. So I loved it.
It was cool. I will admit, even as a Cub fan, it was cool to see the three of them honored on the field again. with the other. I assume those were all the Cardinal Hall of Famers. I didn't watch the whole thing, but
yeah.
But to see Albert there, there's something nostalgic to it. I think any baseball fan can appreciate that. Just to see him there, and it's where he belongs. It's where he belongs. So happy for you. Happy for all of Cardinal Nation to be able to experience that, and hopefully it doesn't end poorly for you. That's all I'll say. He's
played. He's been in the lineup one time for the first 4 games. Now today was rained out, but he was not in the lineup before the game got rained out, and he went 0 for 5. I think with at least 1 double play, maybe 2. So there's not going to be a lot of at-bats.
We're not making this the question of the week, but similar to the question that I asked you several months ago in relation to his position on the Dodgers roster, does he finish the Cardinal season on the Cardinals roster?
Does injured list count?
I mean, that's probably more likely.
This could be our question. Does Albert get to 700 home runs? He needs like 24, I think. Does he get to 700?
I like that. He needs 24 home runs to get to 700.
I think. Let me look it up.
All right, because I have a very quick answer for that. If that's the number, but I'm fine with making that the question of the week. We can. He
needs 21. He has hit 679.
Would you like to make that our question of the week this week instead of what we had planned?
No, let's go with the other one.
Okay.
This week, this might be next week's question though, because this we still got a full season for this question. What we were planning on is time sensitive right now.
Remember that, or put that in the notes, so we remember that next week. We'll get to the question of the week here shortly, though. I do want to take a moment to be a little more somber. At the top of the show, I do want to remember a couple people here that we lost this past week. First off, more on a local level, local being the Champaign region where you and I are both somewhat from and cover a lot of Illini sports. Jim Turpin passed away this past week. Jim Turpin was 90, longtime voice of the Fighting Illini football and men's basketball team. He was the voice when you and I were growing up. When we were pretty young. I think he stepped away from the program in 2002. That's when Brian Barnhart took over. So a lot of the games that we remember were going to be our Brian Barnhart's voice. But some of those early years, that was still Jim Turpin. He was on the mic for the 89 team and a lot of those moments, and some of those early Bill Self teams would have been him too, I think. I don't remember where the cutoff there was, but longtime voice for the Fighting Illini. I worked for WDWS in Champaign for a long time too. Passed away this week, as I said, at the age of 90. Just sad for Champaign, for Illini Nation. I know a lot of people had, gave their thoughts and best wishes to his family and everything. I just wanted to join in that as well. I mean, do you remember hearing a lot of his voice on game broadcasts, or is Brian Barnhart's voice really the first thing you remember?
Yeah, I don't remember any of Jim Turpin. Okay. That mainly probably because I didn't listen to a lot of Illini radio.
Right.
Prior to moving to Champaign in 2015, which Brian had already been doing for a long time. Now Illinois had their network down in Southern Illinois, but I was rarely listening to the radio. All my Illini games came from TV. So no, I knew the name obviously because I was entrenched in the program for 5-6 years, however long it was. But yeah, it's tough to see that. I know a lot of people from our age up have a lot of memories. Robert Rosenthal, I don't know if he mastered up himself or he found it from someone, but he put Turpin's call with some pictures of the 89 game, the Elite Eight game. There's like a 30-second clip when Illinois won at the buzzer, and he tweeted it out with Turpin's call and some black and white pictures and stuff. So that voice meant a lot to a lot of people our age and older. So yeah, hated to see that news. Yeah,
I mean, I was watching a lot of games on TV as well, but just being in the car, driving around a lot when I was younger. Really, I mean, yes, Brian Barnhart's voice has been a staple in Illinois athletics for most of our lives, but really Jim Turpin and Jim Shepard's voice are the the names or the voices that I think of when I think of Illinois basketball, especially growing up. Turpin on the radio, and then Jim Shepard at the Assembly Hall, the PA voice there. So thoughts and prayers to his family. He was 90, so wanted to shout that out and give our thoughts and best wishes to them. The other thing too, obviously the bigger story on a national level, Dwayne Haskins passed away this week. Former Ohio State quarterback, was a part of the Steelers organization. He was down working out with other players and things down in Florida, and was tragically hit it was a car accident, right? It was a truck or something that hit him.
I don't know. I haven't looked it up. I just know he got hit by a car. I don't know the circumstances.
There's a lot of, it's hit by a dump truck, I believe is what the headline read that I wrote, but also very sad. He was only 25 years old. Great quarterback at Ohio State, or 24 years old, excuse me. Great quarterback at Ohio State. Was trying to work his way, in the NFL system. But super sad what happened to him. You just hate to see that. Such a young guy, had a lot ahead of him, whether that was football or not. That's just super sad. Somebody 24 years old for that to happen. Really kind of puts a lot of things into perspective.
Yeah.
From football or not football, just life in general.
CNN reported Dwayne Haskins died when he was struck by a dump truck Saturday morning as he tried to cross a highway on foot in South Florida.
Yeah. Not fun. Not stuff we like talking about on the show, but two people that we did at least want to mention here. Thinking about his family as well.
He was trying to cross Interstate 595's westbound lanes near Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport when the dump truck hit him. The incident was reported shortly after 6:30. He had been walking on the highway for unknown reasons.
Yeah,
that's what CNN has. So
crazy, unfortunate.
Yeah.
He was a part of the Ohio State team, 2017, 2018, that era.
So good in college.
He was so good in college. Picked 15th overall by Washington in the 2019 draft. Spent 2 years as a part of that organization, and then he signed with Pittsburgh before last season and was a quarterback in their system this year. Scheduled to be a quarterback in their system this year. So again, thoughts to his family as well. Super sad that happens at such a young age. So
Adam Schefter didn't help the situation either.
No, I didn't really want to bring that up. But that was not,
we don't have to talk about it, but
yeah.
I just wanted to throw the name in there. If you want to know what happened, just search Adam Schefter and Dwayne Haskins, and you'll see why people don't like Adam Schefter.
He didn't take the tweet down, did he?
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't sure if he did or not.
He did. It did not take long. He did, because people were quote tweeting it, and I was clicking on the original tweet, and it said this tweet's unavailable.
Yeah. So anyway, that's that. Wanted to just mention those two names and send our thoughts to those families and everybody that was part of their lives. So, all right, let's move on to happier things. First off, question of the week. We're not going to do the Albert Pujols thing. We're going to talk NBA playoffs. The NBA playoffs start this week, or not the NBA playoffs. The NBA playoffs do start this week, but that's not what our questions of the week is going to be. Question of the week is going to be, who wins the NBA MVP? NBA MVP. We'll give you the three options being Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, or Giannis Antetokounmpo. Good luck to whoever's going to put that into Twitter, because Twitter polls does not like that long of a name.
People know him as Giannis.
People know him as Giannis.
Like
or the fourth option will be other. There was some debate on whether or not Luka Doncic should be one of the options. But we're going to just leave the fourth option as other. And if you believe it's going to be Luka, then you just select other. Maybe comment below. Let us know who you think it's going to be. But those are going to be the options. Nikola Jokic, Joel Embiid, Giannis Antetokounmpo, or other. Not who you want to win, not who you think should win. I know a lot of you Bulls fans are going to want it to be DeMar DeRozan. He's not going to win. The question is, who will win? in NBA MVP. Craig, what say you? Who wins?
Going by the parameters that you just said, Jokic.
Yeah.
If I was voting, I would if I had a vote for NBA MVP, it would probably be Joel Embiid.
Ayo Dosunmu?
No, maybe in a couple years.
Yeah, I think it should be Jokic. The Embiid thing is interesting because his team should be a lot better than they are.
Yeah.
So that's the thing working against him. Yes, he's had a great season. The only NBA game I've seen in person this year, him and DeMar DeRozan just went off on each other. And he was dominant in that game against the Bulls. But yeah, I think that thing working against Giannis or working against Embiid is how good his team should be, and that they're really kind of struggling to be where they're the 4 seed. So not that the Nuggets are any, not that the Nuggets are any better. I mean, they're the 6 seed, but I don't know that anybody was expecting them to win the whole darn thing or anything. But
that's what I was going to say when you said DeRozan, that they're not going to give MVP to a team that's a 6 seed in their conference. I'm talking about the Bulls. But then I looked, and the Nuggets are the 6th seed in the West.
Yeah, they're the 6th seed too.
Jokic averaged 27.1, 13.8, and 7.9. And Embiid, first center to lead the league in scoring since Shaquille O'Neal in 2000 or 2001. 30.6, 11.7, 4.2. So Jokic's numbers are a lot better.
Yeah.
I feel like. So yeah. Go with Nikola. That's back to back, right?
Yeah, it will be. So that's what I'll go with as well.
There's a guy in the draft this year that his name is very similar to Nikola Jokic. Yes. If you want to look up mock drafts, because I saw it and I was like, wait, what?
They're on the Ringer, their mock draft list, when they get to him and they do the comps part, who they
put not Nikola Jokic.
They put not Nikola Jokic as his comp. So
let's see if I can find it.
What do you got
here? It is Nikola Jovic.
Jovic.
And yeah, Jokic is Nikola Jokic. So the 1 letter difference.
That'll be fun. Hopefully they end up on the same team. That'll be just wonderful. All right. I want to apologize to anybody out there that has been waiting for what we're about to talk about for the last 5 days. And now we've gone 20 minutes on this show. We haven't even mentioned the name Skyy Clark.
Yeah.
Sorry for burying the lead and making you wait all this long. But now we're going to talk about it. Skyy Clark is going to be a Fighting Illini this upcoming season. Skyy Clark is the combo guard originally out of Tennessee, correct? The state of Tennessee,
Nashville, yeah.
Nashville
he's
area.
originally from LA and then moved to Nashville at some point.
And then it ended up in Montverde Academy in Florida. He had committed to Kentucky. Well, I think he's committed 3 times by now. I think he originally committed to Tim Anderson at DePaul.
Yeah.
Then he backed out of that commitment and then committed to Coach Calipari at Kentucky, and then suffered an ACL tear this past year. And somewhere along the way, for whatever reason, which we won't really get into, he decommitted from Kentucky. So then there was yet another circus surrounding him. This is a top 30 recruit in the country in this class. So there was yet another circus surrounding him. And he ended up choosing to come to Illinois. This is huge. This is huge for Illinois basketball. We have talked ad nauseum about the situation of this roster. We know the situation. Illinois is now going to be without. They lost Trent Frazier. They lost DeMonte Williams. They lost Alfonso Plummer, all to graduation or being forced to move on because they didn't have enough years left. They lost Andre Curbelo to the transfer portal, assuming he doesn't come back, which he's not. So you need to change changing of the guard, for lack of a better term, your backcourt needs some help. And you just got some. Skyy Clark is a dynamic guard, point guard, shooting guard, whatever you want to call him. The reason, I mean, he was a Kentucky commit. If that tells you anything, Kentucky is known for getting the best players, some of the best players in the country to go play for them. And now he's going to be a member of the Fighting Illini. Let's just hear your thoughts. Let's just start there. What as soon as it happened, I know you were excited. I was obviously excited. We had thought this was going to be happening. Now that I even mentioned it, I even forgot who else was in the mix here. I don't even remember.
Top six were Illinois, Tennessee, USC, Maryland, Louisville, and Washington. That was his top six.
Can I ask you a question before we get any further?
Of course.
Does that six worry you at all? What do you take away when you see that that's the six that he's choosing from?
Okay, so not worried about Maryland, not worried about Washington. Louisville concerned me because Kenny Payne, who they just hired, was on the coaching staff when he committed to Kentucky. That worried me. Tennessee worries me. They were a top 10 team, 3 seed in the tournament. And he's lived in Nashville. That worried me. USC is always kind of a wild card just because they're USC. They're a big brand, but they haven't been great. So did I cover all those? Yeah.
Yeah. I think so.
It was it seemed to be on paper a random and weird top 6 for a guy like him. But I was a little concerned about Louisville. I'm not going to lie. I thought Louisville was the toughest competition, and I searched Skyy Clark's name on Twitter daily, multiple times a day. And we know that the Illini fan base is always mad online and always just the craziest fan base online. There's a big Louisville fan base that was trying to pull him to Louisville as well. And I could have seen it happening, but it didn't. So we don't have to talk about that.
Yeah. I'm with you. I think that Louisville was
surprise.
Louisville or Tennessee were the ones that I thought were the most competition. Yeah. I look at some of those other options, primarily Maryland and Washington. And while those have been good programs at times, I don't know right now. I mean, a lot of this is cyclical. It depends on who else is on the roster. And there's a lot of factors that go into this thing.
Yeah. I mean, if he would have gone to those two, he is the guy.
Yeah.
Like he could average 25 points a game if he went to Washington or Maryland because they don't have anyone else.
Right.
But he's not going to win a lot of games.
Going from supposed to play at Kentucky or committed to play at Kentucky to potentially going to Maryland. That just seems like a strange move. Now, the thing that we need to talk about is the ACL. That is the big thing here. Whether or not that was the reason why he decommitted, there are certain reports out there that'll tell you yes, and others that might tell you no. But you have to think it had to be a factor. The question that I keep hearing now is whether or not his explosiveness is back or will come back. From everything that I have read and heard, it sounds like before the ACL tear, he was as explosive as a guard as you'll find in this class. And that's not always the case when you have an injury like that. So that's certainly something to take note of. Now, I do think it's interesting that when he was giving his little interview after he committed last week, one of the people that he mentioned was Adam Fletcher, the strength and conditioning coach at the U of I, and how because of his injury that he's going to be recovering from, that he thought that Fletcher was going to give him the best opportunity to rehab that, because let's be honest, he's the type of player that is fully concerned about what's happening after Illinois. I'm sure he's going to stay at Illinois for a year or two and hopes he has success there, but his future is past Illinois. So he wants to go to the best situation that's going to improve his stock for the rest of his career. And he made a note that basically to say that Adam Fletcher was a big reason for that. So yes, the ACL is certainly a concern, but I don't think that means he's not going to be a good basketball player for Illinois. Whether or not whether or not all of that comes back, we don't know, and we won't know for a while, but he's still a pretty darn good talent and something that this team desperately needs.
Yeah. So while we're talking about that kind of stuff, like exactly what you just said, we don't exactly know what Illinois is getting because of that. But 24/7 does their evaluations. They have their national guys that scout players, and they write up like, here's how his game translates. On the reevaluation in March, Eric Bossi, Bossi, said he's certainly a capable playmaker for others, but when that becomes the sole focus of his game, he can be a bit too passive and looking for his own offense. The rocks of his game are his tight ball handling and creativity offensively. So even if he doesn't have the explosiveness, he's creative and he can handle the ball. He just might not get to the rim and attack as much. And it's a full paragraph article. I'm not going to read the whole thing and rip it from him, but the ACL certainly will change someone. But on the other hand, we've come so far and there are so many ACL injuries. How often does it re-tear? Not very often, but people do come back different. What I was getting at originally with the evaluation, Jerry Meyer, who is the director of scouting for 24/7, he is like, I feel like he's one of the main guys at 24/7. This was in October of 2020, which is, I think, before the ACL tear.
It would have to be before
Yeah. Oh, yeah. 2020 for sure. Before the ACL tear. He had a comparison to an NBA All-Star in the Eastern Conference. About the same size. Do you want to take any stabs at who might be compared to Skyy Clark? Plays on the East Coast. And the Eastern Conference plays on the East Coast. Northeast. St. Louis native. Former Florida Gator. Bradley Beal.
Oh. Okay. That makes sense. I was thrown off. That's a comp.
That's a very high comp.
That's a comp.
Again, before ACL tear, and again, don't know how he's going to come back, but if you just get a little bit of that, it's a big get. I don't know how we can put it into words. I know it's 5 days old now. We're delayed. Logan asked if we wanted to do an emergency pod on it. I think we both were kind of like, we'll talk about it next week, whatever. But probably should have done an emergency now thinking about it, but it's whatever. I asked my friends this before the Kylan Boswell decision. And I think I asked you this, but I'm going to put it out there because I'm kind of torn on it. Is this the biggest recruiting win for Illinois, for Brad Underwood? Let's throw some context here. He is a 5-star. He's a composite 5-star from 24/7. 24/7 themselves have him as a 4. I think ESPN has him as a 4, but their composite, which compiles a bunch of different rankings from different sites, has him as a 5-star. That's the first 5-star Illinois has gotten since D in 2002, I think. Was that his? Yeah. 2002. And this gives Illinois the best recruiting class they've had since recruiting websites became a thing about that same time. Is this the biggest recruiting win for Illinois in the last 20 years?
Before he steps foot into a game, yes. Yeah.
Bigger than IO?
Yeah.
Question mark.
Before he plays a game, yes. Will he be as impactful as IO was? Probably not.
That's my argument.
Or Kofi? Probably not. Maybe. I mean, who knows? I mean, there could be a lot of things at play here, but I mean, just going on paper before he plays a single game in an Illini uniform, yeah, absolutely. He's the biggest recruit they've had in years. I mean,
that's my thing. They argue that IO is the biggest win. The thing with IO was he wasn't as heavily recruited. He was not a 5-star. and he was down to Illinois and Wake Forest. Like, you didn't really have to beat anybody to get Io. I think everyone knew Io was coming here, which is a testament to Brad and his staff for doing a good job and getting Io to buy in and basically fending off everyone saying, no, he's going to Illinois. We don't even have a chance, so we're not going to waste our time. And Io is probably the most important recruit because he was the Chicago kid. He was the Illinois guy that bought into a program when they stunk, when there was no reason to come to Illinois. He bought in and he changed the program. So he's probably the most important. But the biggest and best recruiting win, it would have been Boswell because he was the Champaign-Urbana native, that left, and now Illinois is good. He's comes back and commits to Illinois. Skyy Clark's right there. He is a 5-star. He was a decommit from Kentucky. You beat off other top 15, top 25 programs to get him. I think this might be the biggest recruiting win for Illinois in 20 years.
Well, as I said, before he puts on a uniform and plays in the game, yes.
Yeah, but that's what recruiting is.
Right. But I don't think I need to mention the other highly recruited player of the last 20 years did not really pan out well for anybody. So, yes, to answer your question, before he puts on a uniform, yes. As a recruiting win, yes.
Yeah.
Just as Jeremy Richmond was. I'll just put the name out there. Just as Jeremy Richmond was. That
is
didn't
Jeremy
work.
Richmond the he who must not be named? Is that?
I mean, it wasn't
the Voldemort.
It wasn't
Illinois
a Voldemort
basketball?
situation. I was just saying that for some reason. I don't know. Regardless, I'm not saying that that's going to be him. I'm not suggesting that at all. Yes, as a recruit, before he plays a single game, he is a bigger win for Illinois than anybody else they've had in the last 20 years. Yes. Will he be the most important player Illinois has had in the last 20 years? Most likely not. But yes, to answer your question, yes, I would say so.
I texted a Kentucky friend who is diehard UK basketball and asked, why did Skyy decommit? He said there's not going to be much guard playing time next year at Kentucky because I think that a couple of guys that they thought might go pro are actually coming back, and they've already got other guards in the class. So that on top of the injury probably led him to decommit. That's what he said.
Well, Illinois has plenty of guard space right now. So he's going to fit in just fine. Let's just kind of recap where we are right now in the Illinois roster shakeup. As of recording, that's really the only change of late. We still have not heard anything on the Kofi Coburn front. There seems to be some positive vibes about that, but it's still very much a toss-up on what he does. We have not heard anything in regards to Jacob Grandison and Austin Hutcherson, whether or not they are returning, and we have not heard of any other names that are leaving as of right now. So that adds Skyy Clark to an already impressive freshman class. Jaden Epps, Sincere Harris, Ty Rogers, plus the addition of Dane Janja, who's joining the team this coming season as well. I've been kind of mapping out like a depth chart type of situation just to kind of see where this thing is going. You still need another guard. You still need somebody else that can help. If Kofi comes back and nothing else changes, you still need somebody else. Because if not, you're going to be relying super heavily on freshmen to carry your backcourt. And that ain't going to fly. As great as Skyy Clark and Jaden Epps and maybe even Sincere Harris might be, that's not going to work. You're going to need somebody else. Who that's going to be, we don't know. We know officially now it's not going to be Brandon Murray. He was the transfer coming out of LSU who had Illinois on his short list, did visit Illinois this past weekend as one of 3 schools. He made some sort of voyage across the country to visit 3 schools in 3 days or something crazy. Went to Tennessee and then Georgetown. He ended up coming in to go to Georgetown next year. So he is out of the mix for Illinois. Before we move on to Illinois stuff, do you want to comment on the Brandon Murray thing? Because I know you had some thoughts. So
who goes to Georgetown? No, I'm kidding. He's from Baltimore. It makes sense. It's a very Io like comparison, except Io went there out of high school instead of having to transfer. It does make sense. Logan asked me what time I wanted to go today to record today, and I said normal's fine, whatever. And I said, but there could be a commit after we record. He's like, well, should we delay? And I was like, this was before the announcement. I said, no, I think he's going to Georgetown. So it's not that big of a deal. So it was expected to go to Georgetown. Like I said, from Baltimore, going to have the ball in his hands, going to have a chance to make an immediate impact. Patrick Ewing is desperate to get anyone in there because his job is he's on the hot seat. He might be on the hottest seat in all of college basketball. So yeah, it does make sense. Brandon Murray was my number one target on the list. I thought he would have been perfect. Pair him with either Epps or Clark at the point guard, or give Murray the point guard spot, and along with Melendez, Hawkins, and hopefully Kofi. That is a top 15 starting lineup in the country. I loved his game. He wasn't a great offensive threat, but he was a true two-way player, a big body, 6'5", 210, 215, a big guard, which I think is what Illinois needs to move to and get away from Trent Frazier. No offense to Trent. Trent was great for 5 years, but he's 6 foot 170. Alfonso Plummer was 6'2", like whatever he was. He was built a little bit, but Illinois needs big guards and long wing players. And length. Murray was fitted that mold. I know a lot of people wanted Terrence Shannon. He's number one on their list, but I thought Brandon Murray was the perfect fit for Illinois. So this one hurts a little bit, but it's not unexpected.
Yeah, I'm with you. If he's going to Georgetown expecting to win, he's probably crazy. But if he's going there because he wants to have the ball in his hands and he wants to help further his career, and as I've said about the Brad Underwood Kansas State thing, I'll never fault somebody for going home. So that's my stance on it. Would love to have had it. I agree with you 100%. He was the one that I wanted the most out of all these targets. I think he made the most sense. He didn't fill every hole that this roster is going to have, but I think he would have filled a big one. But either way, that is not happening. Brandon Murray goes to Georgetown, so that still leaves a hole somewhere on this team. I think, as I said, if Kofi comes back, I think you're looking at a lineup of Skyy Clark or maybe Jaden Epps. Probably not both, one or the other.
Yeah.
RJ Melendez, Coleman Hawkins, Kofi Coburn. There's still a fifth spot there. You need that to be a Brandon Murray-esque player, somebody that can have the ball in their hands, that's going to get you points. Somebody has length, somebody that can shoot. Ideally, somebody that can also handle the ball. Again, did Brandon Murray check every box? No, probably not, but I think he would have hit a lot of them. So there's still that hole.
What about another guy coming off an ACL tear?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well,
that's not happening.
Well, we can mention that. There's still names. Terrence Shannon is a name. Chicago native, went to Texas Tech. He is in the portal.
Also committed to Tim Anderson and DePaul previously.
Yep, another one of those stories. So his name is certainly out there. He's more of a slashing, shooting,
6'6" wing.
6'6" high flyer type of player, something that Illinois hasn't really had ever. I would be fine with having him too. I don't know if that's happening. Yeah, Brian Randall. Probably a little more. Yeah, I can see that.
Lefty too.
So that's a name that's still out there. Don't know if it's gonna happen or not, but it's a name to keep an eye out on. Courtney Ramey is a name. The Tennessee transfer.
Yep. From St. Louis.
6'3", size, more of a point guard, but I'm not sure he's really a point guard. I know there are some people that he's their number one, which makes some sense, but for the length thing that we've just talked about, he doesn't really fit that mold either. He's certainly a name to keep an eye on. The ACL injury person that you just mentioned, the Adam Miller of it all. I don't think that's happening. No. But I certainly wouldn't rule it out the further we get into this thing. Although I know he wants to be a point guard. I don't know. Don't see it happening, but it's certainly still something to consider because there's still a spot to fill here on this roster. So, and then there's still Jacob Grandison. Jacob Grandison could still come back. If Jake Grandison comes back, he will fill that 5th spot. Is that the best lineup you can throw out there? I don't know. But you can't, he doesn't come back and not get that spot. So, either way, there's still options out there to fill that spot. Don't know who it's going to be. And we still have the whole Kofi Coburn decision too. So it's not like everything is all rainbows and butterflies yet anyway. But just big picture, where we're at right now, outlook wise, what are you thinking about this team, this roster? Do you like where they're at? Obviously the Skyy Clark thing helps tremendously.
Yeah.
But what do you want to see? What do you need to see before you're ready to commit to a top 15 team?
Top 15 team.
Besides Kofi coming back. If Kofi doesn't come back, they could be good, but they need him in order to be an actual contender for much of anything.
Yeah, like you said, that guard spot. They need a guard that can come in immediately and play. Because I don't think you can throw a Epps and Clark starting lineup out there and expect to be great because they are true freshmen. Now we're forgetting about Brandon Pajimski, who it has a year of college basketball experience under his belt. You could theoretically throw him in the 2. He's more of a 2 guard than Melendez or Goody. I guess Goody could be a 2.
Goody could,
but I don't think he's ready for a starting 5 role. There's still probably one big hole with 2 smaller holes, I think. I don't think Terrence Shannon fits this roster. I know people are wanting him, but you got Coleman Hawkins, you got RJ Melendez, you got Luke Goody, potentially Jacob Grandison, and you've got Ty Rodgers. They're all kind of the same there. 6'6", 6'7".
That's true.
Wings. I don't think Terrence Shannon fits. If he commits to Illinois and wants to come to Illinois, one of them's leaving, and it's probably Melendez, if we're being completely honest. So I don't want Terrence Shannon to commit to Illinois unless everyone buys into it. And I just don't think it fits. I think the hole is guard, like you said, someone that can come in and handle a lot of the ball handling duties. And I think they're going to need a big. You got to replace Omar Payne. You have to replace Omar Payne. And I lean Kofi going pro. So if you're okay with Dane Dange starting at the 5, okay, go get a backup. But if you don't think Dange is ready, there's a couple bigs out there that are available to come in right away. Manny Gates, I think is his name, from NC State, who sat out most of this year with injury. Imagine that, Illinois going after someone with injury history. He's available. I think someone just put that Illinois has been in contact with him. And then a guy from Utah Valley, Fardaz Amac, averaged like 15 rebounds a game last year. He averaged like 12 points and 15 rebounds, just a machine. Now, of course, he's playing in the WAC conference, but he's like 6'11" and a big guy. And I think, and he's been in the portal for a long time, and I think Illinois was in contact a long time ago. But if you're looking for a starter, he could come in and play a lot of minutes. Now, I think he's one that also put his name in the draft, so he's going through that first. So you might have to wait on him. But like you said, the good thing is we'll know about Kofi in less than 13 days.
Yeah, the Kofi thing is its own thing. That's a whole nother conversation in itself, as you just talked about it. I mean, if he leaves, then yes, you have an even bigger hole to fill, and you're not going to fill it with a Kofi-esque player. You're gonna good luck. But yeah, the guard thing is still something to be concerned about. There are internal options, yes. I mean, if it ends up being Goody or Epps or Pajimski or even Sincere Harris, some sort of combination of those, and Kofi comes back, I think you can get away with it. But I would still like to see them go after somebody, whether that's Courtney Ramey, even Terrence Shannon, although I agree with you. I don't know if that makes the most sense. or even a return of who. Whatever. I think they still need to fill that spot somehow.
Don't get me wrong. I would love Adam Miller to come back to Illinois. I hated that he left, but a certain thing needs to change, or certain things need to change, and a certain someone needs to realize that it's not their job to do what they want if Adam Miller wants to come back to Illinois.
If you don't know what Craig's talking about, just find a message board somewhere. You'll figure it out. Who could fill a spot? Kendall Moore. No. Kendall Moore, though, Danville native, went to Colorado State, had a fairly successful 4 years at Colorado State. He did enter his name into the transfer portal. Would be a ball handling guard. Would check a box. Don't know that that's the sign. That's the transfer you want to go after. But he did announce he's going to transfer somewhere. I have no idea where. Good luck to him. Colorado State had a pretty good team this year. And now he's going to go somewhere else. So
Kendall's the best, man. I don't know if you've met him.
I have not met him, but I've heard that he's a really cool guy.
Yeah. Him and his family are all great people. So I wish nothing but success for that kid. And I was so happy that he made the tournament this year. I know they got bounced, but I was so glad that he had success there and they made the tournament.
If Illinois filled their needed 2 spot and they still had an opening and they needed a ball handler, I would be happy to bring Kendall Moore in, but that's not happening.
Bring him and bring all the Danville, him and Anaya Peoples. Just bring them all back to Champaign.
I don't know why not. They shouldn't have left in the first place. All right, let's move on from basketball. Unless anything else basketball related we need to talk
about. I mean, there's a ton going on, but
College
I don't think anything. Louisville hired Nolan Smith as an assistant. Which I think is a great hire. I really think Louisville's going to turn it around quick, depending on the sanctions will go away eventually. And after the sanctions, I think they'll be back to top 25.
Do you want to talk about the Juwan Howard to the Lakers rumor?
There is a Juwan Howard to the Lakers rumor. Good call. The Lakers fired Frank Vogel today. And the 2 names that have already popped up are Juwan Howard and Nick Nurse. So there's that.
If you're a head coach, would you want that job?
I would never want to coach LeBron James. I would never want to coach in the NBA, if I'm being honest. I would never want to coach in the NBA. I think Dan Patrick's show put out a poll this morning. Who's more to blame for losing in the NBA? Injuries, front office, coach, players. Who's more to blame?
Injuries.
You think injuries are the biggest part why teams lose?
Yeah.
Okay. I said players. Players are playing
the
games.
Injuries would be to the players.
Yeah, but you can't control injuries. But who takes the most blame for losing?
The answer is not coaches for the most part for me.
It's not coaches.
Sometimes
coaches take the most blame.
Not when you have LeBron
James. Coaching in the NBA is like refereeing high school. It's a thankless job.
I don't know. I wouldn't want that job if I was an NBA coach.
Let Juwan Howard have it, though. Get him out of Michigan. But then maybe John Beilein comes back. So, no, keep Juwan Howard at Michigan.
Yeah. One other thing. I literally just read this. Rob Judson, former Illinois assistant coach, is going to go to Illinois State to join.
Wasn't he at Illinois State at one point?
Maybe at one point. He's most recently been at DePaul as a special assistant, according to Jeff Goodman. But he's going to join the new staff at Illinois State there. So
right. he was in the Rob Judson?
Yeah.
Yeah. He left Illinois to be a head coach in 2001 at Northern Illinois. Then after he was fired there, he became an assistant at Illinois State in 2007.
Good for him.
Where'd you say he was at?
DePaul. He was a special assistant to the head coach at DePaul.
His Wikipedia says he was still an assistant at Marquette.
He joined the staff at DePaul in September of 2021, according to DePaul's website. Anyway, Rob Judson to Illinois State. Good for him. Moving on from basketball to football. Whitney Mercilus, former Illini great, 10-year career in the NFL. with the Texans. Was he only with the Texans? Did he ever play for anybody else?
He spent the last half of this year with the Packers.
Oh, that's right. He announced his retirement. So happy for him. Had a good 10-year career. Was never a Pro Bowler. Was never an All-Pro.
Second team All-Pro.
Just a solid career on a good defensive team. So, I mean, the offense wasn't always there in Houston, but that defense, they were legit. I mean, he played alongside JJ Watt and the others there. Like that's a good team. And he was a big part of that. As I said, former Illini, played for, when was he in Illinois? 10 years ago, I guess. So
2011 was his junior season.
Good career for the Illini, moved on. And then, as I said, played most of his career down there in Houston on a really good defensive team. So he's moving on in whatever else that means for his life, his career. Good for him. Heck of a foot player at Illinois. Good player in the NFL. Sometimes it's just nice to go out when you want to go out and not let anybody force you to do it.
Yeah, he won the Ted Hendricks Award in 2011 and the Bill Willis Trophy. Ted Hendricks is best defensive end. Bill Willis is best defensive lineman. He won both of those. He was a unanimous All-American in 2011, first team All-Big Ten. I think he was the last first team All-Big Ten Illinois had until Kirby Joseph got it this year. I think. I could be wrong, but I think he might be the most recent.
How often are you wrong?
Quite a bit. Quite a bit.
Okay.
I hate to say it, but yes, quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, Illini great. He was one of the very few former Illini football players that had a successful NFL career. It seemed like there for a while, which it was the Ron Zook recruiting talent. Why this happened. There for a while, Illinois just produced first round NFL guys for like 4 or 5 years. Illinois was never good. They made like 3 bowls in this time, but they always, like AJ Jenkins, first round. Like they always had the random first round picks, and the NFL teams would draft them, and they'd be like, "Why are you drafting an Illinois guy?" Well, Whitney Mercilus worked. He's one of the few. AJ Jenkins did not work. Whitney Mercilus worked out. Corey Leggett, he's had a long, decent career, but not Whitney Mercilus' career. So, good for him. Love former Illini having professional success, and he got it. I don't know that he might have had another year or two left, but it probably would have been below average. So go out while you can, go out while you're still feeling good and have a future ahead of you and don't have concussions and all that stuff. So yeah, good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. Congrats to him. Good luck on wherever else life takes him.
Yeah.
NBA playoffs. I kind of hinted at this earlier.
Start tomorrow.
During our question of the week. The playoffs are starting.
Question though.
Oh,
is the play-in tournament considered playoffs? I looked this up yesterday and I couldn't get an answer. Is the play-in tournament?
I believe it's just
a playoff appearance.
I don't think so.
So, like,
I think it is
if the Hornets lose this play-in game, they do not get counted as making the playoffs in 2022.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Which I think is how the NCAA tournament should do it too.
If you don't win the first 4 games, you don't get a.
Correct. I just think it's weird that 16 seeds have these wins.
That's something you asked me last week, I think, what I would change about college basketball. I think you probably know where I'm going. I think the play-in games should be all the 12 seeds. I get it
with you.
Because the 16 seeds that play, they get a tournament win. I think they get like extra money. Their conference gets extra money.
Yes.
But I don't think they should be punished by having to play another game after they won their conference tournament to earn their bid.
It should be the last 8 teams in
the field.
Play-ins. Yes, I agree with that. And if that's the case, then yes, you can count it as a tournament game.
Yes.
I just don't like the 16s that counting it. Like, it's nothing against the 16s. I just don't think that's a fair thing to say that's a tournament win. Like,
Texas Southern has more NCAA tournament wins the last 25 years than Nebraska or like
Illinois.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I agree. I think it should be the last 8 teams in. Should be the NCAA tournament. But either way, we're not talking about that. NBA playoffs. The play-in tournament gets underway. Is that today? Is that
tomorrow night?
Tomorrow night.
2 tomorrow night, 2 Wednesday night.
Yeah. So the 7 and 8 in the West, the Timberwolves and the Clippers. The 9 and 10 are the Pelicans and the Spurs. And then the East, the 7 and 8 is the Nets and Cavs, and then 9-10 is the Hawks, Hornets.
It's so funny that the Nets are in the play-in.
The Nets are in the play-in, and the Lakers aren't in.
The Celtics got screwed.
It's the world we live in. So just real quick, I'll run through the whole thing. In the West, the Suns are the 1. They'll get the 8 seed, whoever that's going to be. Craig's Suns. Yes, Craig's Suns. I'm surprised you're not wearing a Suns shirt, although you are wearing your Tiger shirt.
Had to rep Tiger today.
So the Suns are the 1 seed. They'll get the 8 seed, whoever that ends up being. The Mavericks are the 4. They'll get the Jazz. Warriors are the 3. They get the 6-seeded Nuggets. And then the Memphis Grizzlies are the surprise of the NBA. They're the 2 seed, and we'll get whoever wins the 7 seed. And then in the East, the Heat are the 1. They'll get the 8. The 4 and 5 is the 76ers and the Raptors. The Bulls and Bucks will match up in the 3-6 series. The Bulls being the 6 seed. And then the Celtics are the 2, getting the winner of that Nets-Cavs game, as Craig, what's your name? Craig alluded to.
Why does everyone... Chris is a common I get called Chris all the time.
I clearly know that's not your name. But I might start calling you that. Chris Hagstrom gets Craig a lot.
Really?
I'm pretty sure that's in his Twitter bio. At least it was for a long time. I don't know, something about it. He always used to be called
weird.
Craig. Anyway,
Chris Coyote.
So that is the NBA playoffs. That the play-in tournament gets underway tomorrow, and then the rest of it will get started later in the week. Give me your thoughts. Let's talk about that Bulls Bucks series first from a local perspective. The Bulls have had a good start to their season.
Yeah.
The last several weeks have not been pretty for the Bulls. They battled through a lot of the injury stuff early. They have an MVP candidate. He's not going to win. He's probably a second team all MVP player now in DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah.
But the Bulls have had a good season, all things considered. But they're going to get a tough first round with the Bucks. Thoughts? You see the Bulls escaping that first round?
No, I don't. It's a tough matchup. I think I saw one of the Bulls beat, or maybe a national beat, say that the Bucks have won 16 of the last 17 against Chicago. That, again, could be off, could be wrong, but I just know that they've struggled against Milwaukee the last couple of years, like bad. And like you said, the Bulls were, at one point they had the 1 seed. They were 26-10. So they were 26-10, and they ended 46-36. So they went 20-26 over the last 46 games, something like that. No. Yeah. 26-10 would be 20-26 the last 46 games. Not great. A couple long losing streaks in there. And I think it really kind of all turned when Lonzo went down. Is that right? Yeah. It seems right. Lonzo went down. The last game that he led any of their stats was January 12th, which they would have been 27-12 after a blowout loss. Yeah, that's when it was. I remember this because I was complaining that I wasn't getting to watch the Bulls down here, and they had back-to-back games on ESPN. They played January 12th versus the Nets and January 14th versus the Warriors. They lost to the Nets 138-112, and then they lost to the Warriors 138-96. And I was like, okay, this team is not great. There needs to be improvement. And Lonzo left that next Nets game, I think, with the injury. And that's when it all all went downhill. So, yeah, not a great draw. Not a great draw for the Bulls. They do have Patrick Williams back, who scored a career high 35 just last night in the season finale. Io also scored a career high last night, 26 in the season finale, because they rested a bunch of guys to get prepared for the playoffs. But an improvement for the Bulls as a franchise. They have a direction now. They have some success to build off of. But I don't see them going far in the playoffs. It could be like a 5 or a 6 game series against the Bucks here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they'll struggle. That Bucks team is just pretty darn good.
I wouldn't mind seeing Grayson Allen taking a couple cheap shots, though.
I'm not sure anybody would.
Because he is the one who knocked Alex Caruso out. The Caruso and Ball injuries are what really took the Bulls out of their rhythm. And it was Grayson Allen's fault. So, yeah.
Yeah. You're right. All right, make your picks. Who's coming out of the East? Who makes it to the Eastern Conference Finals?
I will go. Man, that Nets Bucks second round. Whew. I think the 76ers come out of the top half of the East. Can I preface this by telling you that I've watched probably less than 10 NBA games this season, so I don't really know. I follow, I see what's going on. I know what's happening, but I don't watch the games very often. I'm going to go 76ers and Bucks in the final, Eastern Conference Final.
All right. And the West?
Chalk, Suns and Grizzlies.
Okay. All right. Do we know how healthy are the Warriors right now?
I have no idea. I know Clay's playing. I don't know how healthy they are as a team, though.
That's fair. I will take the...
I can probably tell you real quick.
I'm also going Bucks. And I'm going to go... I'll go Heat. I'll go Heat in the East. In the West, I'm going to go with the Suns. And I don't know. I think I'm going to take the Warriors. Not that I don't trust the Grizzlies. I don't know really where the Warriors are in terms of their health.
Steph has been out for a while.
Yeah.
And don't know when he's coming back.
I don't know. I'm still going to take the Warriors.
Okay. Who'd you take on the top? Suns?
Suns.
Yeah. So Suns to the finals?
Yes. Suns, Bucks.
I'm going Sixers. That's the same as last year. I'm going Sixers and Suns. My heart says Grizzlies, but I think the Sixers are too good.
Coming from the Suns fan, your heart still says Grizzlies.
It does. I actually like the Grizzlies team a lot. I like Ja Morant is crazy fun.
They're the darlings of the NBA.
They are the darlings of the NBA.
All right.
But I have the Suns beating the Sixers.
Okay. I'll take Suns over Bucks.
Revenge tour.
Yeah, whatever. Major League Baseball got underway this week. We talked a little bit about it at the top of the show. Craig, how'd your Cardinals do this week?
You didn't give the results of last week's question of the week.
So we're going to talk about last year's question of the week. That's a good point.
Last week's question of the week, not last year.
Last month's, last days. Last week's question of the week. Yes, Craig, you corrected me. Thank you for that. We did not talk about that. Last week's question of the week: who wins the NL Central? 55% of the voters said the St. Louis Cardinals. You can tell who our fan base is, who our listeners are. Not that I want either of these teams to win, but I think that's just wrong. 55% said the Cardinals, 22% said the Brewers, 18% said the Cubs, and 3% said the Reds or Pirates, which is just absolute blasphemy. That had to be my father.
I was going to say, that's probably your dad.
The only person. So, yeah, that was last week's question of the week. The Cardinals, really? 55% of you really think the Cardinals are going to listen? I'm not here to say that the Brewers are going to be banging down the door for any World Series appearances, but really 55%?
Shocked me too. Yeah, I'm just as surprised as you.
We've been taken over by bots. That's what's happening. All right, moving on. How did your National League champion to be Cardinals do this weekend?
So they had a weird 4-game series with the Pirates to start the year. They played on opening day Thursday. And I hate when this happens. They had the second day of the season off. Like, what's the point? They're not tired. They don't need a day off. They were off Friday, played Saturday, Sunday, and then the 4th game of their series was Monday. So it was a rare Thursday through Monday.
Do you know why they do that?
Probably TV or something.
It's so that they can reschedule opening day if they need to.
That makes sense. But not everyone does that because there were games Friday.
Most teams, not everybody played Thursday. Not every, yeah, you're right. Not every team does it. I don't know. I'm pretty sure.
I guess teams with games in domes don't have to be rescheduled.
I don't know. And
I'm pretty
sure there's some reason.
I think that happened just a couple of years ago to St. Louis, actually. So that does make sense. But it was weird, not only because of that, but because it was a 4-game series that went into Monday. Normally the series will end on Sunday, So anyways, but the game today was rained out. So that one is postponed, but they are 2-1. They won the first 2 and then lost Sunday. Steven Matz gave up like 6 runs in his debut. And then today the manager said that he was dealing with a blister that no one knew about. And also the Marmol was sick for Saturday and Sunday's game. He had the flu. So yeah, overall, I saw a lot of things that I liked on Sunday or on Thursday and Saturday. Nolan Arenado was named NL Player of the Week. He's hitting 500 with 2 home runs. Excuse me. And quite a few RBIs, 4 RBIs, maybe 5 RBIs. So good start for him. Dylan Carlson's in the leadoff spot, playing really well. Paul Goldschmidt went, I think it was Thursday. It was either Thursday or Saturday. He did not get an official at bat because he walked 4 times, which I don't know if I've ever seen that. It's been a while since I've seen that, at least. So yeah, the top half of the lineup looks really good, but the bottom half just, I don't know. It's still concerning. Still a little concerning, the bottom half, but overall, I'll take it.
Well, apparently they're going to win the division, so you'll be fine.
Paul Goldschmidt went 1 for 1 with 4 walks and 2 runs scored.
Pretty good day at the office. That's great. The Cubs went 2-1 on the weekend against the Brewers.
Good weekend for the Cubbies.
They were scheduled to play Thursday and Friday both, but they got rained out on Friday.
Had a buddy that was supposed to go to that game.
Yeah. So 2-1. They started the year 2-0. They had a good start to Sunday's game, Marcus Stroman's debut. He threw 5 great innings, and then the bullpen blew that one. 2-1 for the Cubs. Seiya Suzuki homered on Sunday. I did not watch on Sunday. Me and Marquis are going to go at it all year long. I can tell already. So I just gave up trying to watch. I didn't even bother on Sunday.
Are you in Marquee Network, or are you in Chicago's net?
Well, okay.
What's the word? Market. Are you in the Chicago market?
Yes, but that's not my issue.
No, I know, but
yes.
Like you couldn't get MLB TV because they would be blacked out.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
My issue is that the app sucks. The app sucks. Marquee is on Comcast. It's on DirecTV.
Yep.
It's on a few providers. It is not on YouTube TV, which is the TV service that I subscribe to. I can't watch it on there. I am able to use my family's DirecTV account to log in to watch it on the app, but the app is awful. The app is terrible. It has been since they launched it. And they've done nothing to change it.
How so? What is the issue? Can you not play the game?
The issues I've been having this weekend, it happened on Friday or Thursday on my phone when I was trying to watch it, and Saturday on the Roku app when I was trying to watch it. And both games, the game would be running. Well, first off, anytime you start the stream, you have to watch a 30-second commercial, which would be fine if the stream works consistently. The second issue is that I have to like reauthorize it super often. Like no other app do I have to reauthenticate my service every like 2 weeks that I'm trying to log into this thing. No other app makes me do that. Third, well, the issue that I was having this week is that I would load up the game. It would be working fine. They would go to a commercial and then it would never come back. It would just be on the we'll be right back screen and the game just never returns. So then I have to get back out of it, watch another 30-second commercial. And then then I was getting error messages telling me some sort of error. I just gave up. I tweeted at them. They DM'd me. We had a conversation back and forth. They said they're going to pass it along. It'll never get fixed because they're being really cheap.
Imagine that. Something the Cubs own being cheap.
I didn't even watch on Sunday.
All the while, Tom Ricketts wants to spend $2.5 billion to buy Chelsea.
Not even going to go there.
Speaking
not
of,
even going to go there.
I texted Andy Olson, who I kind of credit him with getting me into the Premier League, because he was always talking about. We shared we were desk neighbors at WCIA before I left, and he was always talking Aston Villa, and I was thinking about jumping on the Chelsea train. So he's who I talk soccer with. I told him if Tom Ricketts or the Ricketts family buys Chelsea, I'm done. I am not a Chelsea supporter anymore if that happens. So I'll say that. Go ahead.
Annoying. But yeah, they're being cheap on their app too, which it's just stupid. So yeah, I didn't even watch on Sunday. I didn't even bother to watch on Sunday. I went to
Is that when Suzuki hit his home run?
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyway, Marquee, your services, your TV, the TV presentation, what you're giving off is great. It just needs to be on more cable providers, and your app is awful.
It's crazy to me that they haven't come to an agreement with YouTube TV.
It's not on, and I think they used to be on Hulu, else. But apparently they're not on Hulu Live now either. So somebody else was saying. So
that's crazy.
It's all ridiculous. I hate it so much. Did you happen to watch any of the gimmicky broadcasts this week?
I did not.
We're now in the world of the K-Rod cast, the Michael K, Alex Rodriguez Sunday Night Baseball.
The only reason I put that on the rundown is because I saw the TMZ article where Michael K took a shot at A-Rod for J-Lo's engagement.
I didn't see that. That was something I should have watched. But that's the new thing. Apple TV. I did want to talk about the Apple TV thing. Yeah. Apple TV launched their new Friday Night Baseball package this past weekend. Very strange. Huh?
With your favorite.
Yes, with very strange broadcasting teams. Amongst the people in the booth are Katie Nolan, a favorite of Craig and mine. Love Katie. Have no idea why she's in a broadcast booth for baseball. No clue. I caught a little bit of the first game. There was a doubleheader on Friday night. Yeah. I wasn't listening to anything in the first game. I think we were watching a movie or something. I just kind of turned it on just because I wanted to see what it was like. And then I did watch with the sound a little bit of the second game. Alex Wilson, friend of the pod, did text me and wanted to make sure that we talked about this because he said Twitter and Reddit are having a field day with this thing.
He just seems like a Reddit guy.
He is. He's a very Reddit guy. Shout out to you, Wilson. So here's my thing. I get that they're trying to be fun with the broadcasters. They're trying to go a different direction. Yeah. I just read an article right before we started that apparently they reached out to both Mina Kimes and Bill Simmons to do color or to be in the booth for these games. They're trying something different, and I credit them for that. The broadcast, the visual, the graphic package, the clearness of the game, all that was great on Apple TV Plus. Like all that was, I love the graphics package. It's very Apple-esque, minimalist.
I was going to say, I saw screen grabs and it looked like something you watch on Apple.
Yeah. I'm okay with that. They tried this whole probability of getting on base thing. I don't know that needed to be there. They just need to just stick to baseball. Like, we don't need to be cute with this. I love Katie Nolan. She has no business being in a broadcast booth for a baseball game. She just does it. Like,
who was the play-by-play?
Some young guy that I've never even heard of. Hunter Pence was the other color guy in that booth. Heidi Watney from MLB The Show. Was the
I knew that name.
And it's funny because she was wearing the big Apple, whatever they call their big headphones,
their AirPod,
whatever. The big ones, like these. But I just thought that was funny that she was wearing that on the field. I didn't watch it for very long. I just kind of wanted to see like how this was going to go. Either way, my opinion, they need to just stick to baseball. Stop trying to be cute with it. Like this whole thing with networks and streaming services, I think it's getting out of hand personally, but I can't. That's neither here nor there. That ship has sailed. So stick to baseball. That is my advice to everybody that's trying to get cute with their broadcasts.
Peacock also in the baseball game now.
Peacock is also going to be in the baseball game now. Yes. Just about every streaming service will have some sort of, we talked about this recently because I did bring it up about the whole HBO Max thing, that they are now, because they have Turner, they might be getting into the NBA game at some point too, but Netflix doesn't have any live sports. Disney Plus doesn't have any live sports, but they are going to be getting Dancing with the Stars. So that will be live TV that is going to Disney Plus. So it may not be long until sports follows. So it's all going to streaming services. I feel feel bad for everybody that lives out in the middle of nowhere, like my parents, that won't be able to watch any of this stuff. All right. Yes.
How long until you get MLB The Show?
I mean, until I've been playing last year's version right now. And I just don't want to do it. I'm not going to spend $60 on a game that doesn't fix any of the things that I'm mad about. Like every screenshot you've sent me is just another reason to why.
That's what I was going to do. I was going to go back.
Game. Okay. Here's my question for you. And I don't know if you noticed this or not. And I don't know what it is. I call it like the 77 overall thing. It's an issue. You do franchise mode, right? You go several seasons in.
I think the farthest I've got is probably, and I don't play game. I rarely play the games. I sim everything.
How far in do you usually go?
Normally I'll get like 4 or 5 seasons.
Okay.
Rarely do I go more than 5. There have been a couple where I sim like 10 out, but that's it.
The problem with that game, the biggest problem, in my opinion, with franchise mode, yes, the trade logic is a mess, but that's not even my biggest issue. My biggest issue is that you get about 4 years in and 80% of the MLB players are like a 77 overall. It's like the progression, like everybody just improves. Nobody gets worse. Like if you get like 4 seasons in, if you go to your starting pitching, you're going to have like 10 pitchers that are at least like a 77 and you can't do anything with them. Like a 77 in year 1, if you're starting a team, if you're like doing the A's, like I've been doing recently, a 77 is like your number 2 starter. And then by your 4th season, you're going to have 12 starters that are 77s. And you can't do anything with them. You can't trade them because every single rotation, every single pitching staff, every single roster already has like 10 other 77s on their roster. You can't do anything with them. So like the way that the players progress, like it's just frustrating. It just annoys me. And I don't want to spend $60 on a game that's not fixed. So if you tell me that it's fixed, I'll probably spend the money on it. But everything that you've sent me and that I've seen has not shown me that anything that I find frustrating about franchise mode has been fixed.
So I don't have that dilemma because I have Xbox Game Pass and it's free on Xbox Game Pass. So I didn't pay for it. So I'm basically have the same game just with updated jerseys and the Cleveland Guardians now and all that.
I don't have an Xbox. So
to go along with that, I've noticed that you said players don't progress because you could have, who's a young stud right now? Freaking Bobby Witt. You could have Bobby Witt this year, who's I think like about 75, 77. you could sim 10 years in and he's probably not even reached 90.
Right.
You know?
That's another
like,
issue too.
They don't have like the top prospects don't progress into the superstars that they normally do in real life. Correct. But yeah, the trade logic has not been fixed. The first thing I normally do with I always start with the Cardinals, and I always offload a bunch of the old guys or the guys that I don't want. So I just put in Paul DeYoung, Corey Dickerson, and TJ McFarland, and just had the computer suggest trades for me. And that trade would have gotten me Tim Anderson straight up. DeYoung, Dickerson, and McFarland, Tim Anderson. And then I did one with the Royals. I really like the Royals, young core. So I did one with the Royals to try. I just offered up Zach Greinke, who is an 87 overall. He's 38 years old. And I sent Logan 4 screenshots that I got for Zach Greinke. The Red Sox offered me Alex Verdugo and Rafael Devers, who Devers is one of the top 5 third basemen in baseball. The Brewers offered me their 2 closers, Josh Hader and Devin Williams. The Mariners offered me 2 of the best prospects in baseball, Logan Gilbert and Jared Kelenic. And the Tigers offered me 2 more prospects, Casey Mize and Spencer Torkelson, for Zach Greinke.
Not doing it. I'm just not. I don't have Xbox Game Pass. I'm not spending the $60 to buy a game that doesn't fix the things that are wrong with it. So,
yeah. And leading up, they said that they had fixed all of this.
They didn't
remember?
Fix shit.
Yeah.
They do minor tweaks. They don't care about franchise.
Dang it,
they
Logan.
Make their money on. They make their money
go through a full
Diamond
episode
Dynasty.
without cussing.
No, they make. Yeah, they make all their money on Diamond Dynasty. They do not care about franchise mode. So annoying. And so until you tell me that things are actually fixed, I will not be buying that game. Craig, talk about the Masters. Did you watch the Masters, Craig?
Popping my Tiger Woods shirt. I told you I bought this like a year and a half ago. Remember? I bought this shirt like a year and a half ago.
Was that? Did you buy that like the week?
I'm not wearing this until.
You bought that like the week after you bought the IO jersey, right?
Yeah, which that order has been canceled. I've given up on that. But yes, I've had this Tiger Woods shirt. It's just a red shirt with his TW logo big in the middle of it. I've had this forever. I was waiting for him ideally to win a tournament, but this was about as good as it was going to get. Tiger, I think, surprised most of the golf world and played in the Masters this week. I was not expecting it. I think any smart person would have said that he wasn't going to play. But like Monday or Tuesday of last week, he was flying into Augusta, playing a practice round. He played 18 holes and then with his son, and then his son wanted to play the par 3 course. So they played, he said it multiple times this week. They played 27 holes early last week. Wanted to see how his body would respond. And he was fine enough to play. So he teed it up and had, I think I've already forgot his round breakdown, but he made the cut. I don't know that anyone expected him to do that. He let alone play, but to make the cut. Yeah, he was 1 under for the first round. So yeah, because Friday was the nasty day. But to shoot a 71 on your first round after a severe car accident, which almost cost him his right leg, just an incredible story. I was so excited to see him play, and I'm glad we got that. I don't think he's going to be a regular. I think he is now I'm going to show up for the big tournaments, and that's about it. So I think we'll probably see him 4 times a year, the 4 majors. If he gets healthy enough, maybe for the players, maybe for a run at the FedEx Championship at the end of the season, but I don't think it happens. I think we see him 4 times a year from here until he retires, or until he's healthy enough to compete in like the Champions League. I don't know. I don't think he's going to play in more than 10 tournaments a year ever again. But it was fun to watch the tournament as a whole. And I might get dragged for this. because it is the Masters, because there are constantly scenes, and there were moments. There were a ton of moments. I was kind of bored with the tournament this year. I think it's Thursday. I was giddy. I was so excited. I watched every second of coverage Thursday. And then Friday just ruined it for me. And it's because of the weather. The weather, it was like 25-mile-an-hour winds, and it was cold. And just the scores on Thursday or Friday were terrible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 scores under par on Friday compared to $18 on Thursday. So it just doesn't do it for me. So Friday somewhat ruined it. Tiger fell out of contention, and Scottie Scheffler kind of ran away with it. It was never, I don't know that he was ever in jeopardy of losing that tournament after Friday, because he went out and shot a 67 when everyone else was shooting over par. He shot a 67 along with Justin Thomas to take control, take a 3-shot lead, something like that, 4 shots into the weekend. And it was just over from there. So yeah, overall tournament was kind of lackluster for me. But there are going to be moments. Tiger, of course, coming back. And then I don't know how much you saw, but yesterday, the final round, Rory McIlroy and Colin Morikawa hold out from the same bunker within 2 minutes of each other, which that was crazy. And I repeat pretty much everything I tweet on this show, but I tweeted, golf celebrations after big shots like that are the most awkward moments in sports because they don't know what to do. Like, you remember when Tiger chipped in from the hill and it stayed on the cup and then finally rolled in? Him and his caddy celebration with the awkward high five where they miss, and then like the awkward hug. It was the same way with Rory yesterday. He did you see the video?
I think I saw it live.
Okay. Well, he did like this. He was like, he just threw his hands out forward, and then he awkwardly threw his club like 5 feet in front of him. Like,
it was great.
What are you doing, dude?
No clue.
That was the best part. But
yes.
It's the Masters, so it was awesome. And Scottie Scheffler is just a stud right now. He won his first PGA Tour event in February. And he is now, with that included, he has won 4 of his last 6 starts. He's number 1 golfer in the world. He's just on an absolute tear right now.
Yeah.
Obviously, we talked about it last week. He was not one of my picks to win. I had Justin Thomas and Brooks Koepka. Koepka missed the cut. Thomas, I think, finished top 10, maybe. Yeah, tied for 8th. Justin Thomas did. So, but yeah, it's hard to bet against Scottie Scheffler right now. He's running the golf world.
Did you go 10 minutes talking about golf and not mention Scottie Scheffler until like the last 2 minutes? Or did you mention him earlier? Because, I mean, he won the whole damn tournament. I don't even know that his name was mentioned.
It was towards the end, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, the story obviously was Tiger. And that was the story of this tournament. Scottie just had such a huge lead by the end of it. I mean, he even botched a couple of those putts at the end and still had more than
4 putted the last hole.
It had still a commanding lead over Rory to win. So
it got down to 1. It was a 1-shot lead at one point. I think on like 9 or 10, Cam Smith got it to 1, and then Cam bogeyed and Scheffler birdied, and then Smith put one in the water on 12, and he faded after that. I think where it changed was the third hole. I think it was a 2-shot lead. The third hole, they were both left under the scoreboard, and Scheffler chipped in for birdie. That might have been the one that that won the tournament. I don't know that that won the tournament, but that set up the rest of the day. So it changed early, and yeah.
Well, that's great. I didn't watch much. I did watch Thursday a little bit and Friday. And then I watched probably the last like 30 or 40 minutes of the broadcast on Sunday.
Talk about a good app, not marquee. The Masters
I did not
app.
watch through their app, but that's, I was able to watch it on ESPN Plus. So I was at least able to watch Tiger on Thursday and Friday. So, all right, we're almost done here. Real quick, movies or TV. Did you have anything you want to talk about from the movies and TV world? No. Okay. I'm not going to spend much time.
Still waiting on the Batman to start streaming.
Next Monday, the 18th. That'll be on HBO Max. The movie that came out this week, though, Everything Everywhere All at Once. I went and saw that yesterday instead of watching baseball. I will just say it out. It's the highest score that I've given a movie since 2019. It is not a movie. It is not a movie that I will recommend to everybody. It is strange, and they cram so much into this movie. Most of the time, like 9 times out of 10, almost 10 times out of 10, when movies try to do that, they don't have success. This one works. Everything Everywhere All at Once is a movie that features primarily a Chinese American cast or Chinese cast. It's a good chunk of it's in subtitles, but a large chunk of it's also in English. For those that care. But it is at its core, it's a family drama about a Chinese American family, primarily the woman in the family played by Michelle Yeoh, who her and her husband run a laundromat. They have a 20-something-year-old daughter that struggling with her identity, and they are just struggling with a variety of things. But this movie is also sci-fi. It's an action martial arts movie. It's a comedy. It's just a lot of things. I believe what I said on Twitter was that in a year that we're already going to have Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and Spider-Man Into this or Across the Spider-Verse Part 2, this will be the best multiverse movie of the year. It's such a strange concept for a movie, and it will not be for everyone, but it works. If you're into good movies and you're okay with it being a little obscure, go see this movie. And I would recommend seeing it in a theater. I don't know if watching this at home on Netflix, whenever that happens at some point down the road, that it will give the same effect. It's a strange type of movie. They pay homage and reference a lot of things. You could definitely feel the Matrix vibes. You can feel the, kind of the Marvel-esque vibes to this movie. There's a Pixar reference. Like, there's just a lot happening in this movie. It's very good. It is, as I said, it's the highest score I've given to a movie since 2019. That score may change over time. I tend to fluctuate a little bit, but as of right now, it's high. It's the highest I've given anything since, I believe I had 3 movies in 2019 that scored higher than what this is right now. But I have it as 4.5 stars, 91 out of 100, which in 2019, Parasite, Jojo Rabbit, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood all scored higher than that, but nothing in 2020 did, and nothing in 2021 did. So it's very good. It's strange. As I said, not for everyone, but it's a really good movie. And I definitely recommend it.
My question, always for you, how long is it?
230, 240 maybe. I mean, it's
got a movie.
Well, what movie isn't anymore?
I know.
Let's see. What is the runtime? It doesn't really feel like it. If I'm being honest, it's 140 minutes. So that's 2 hours and 220. So, it's good.
All right.
It's a really good movie. Definitely recommend it to anybody that's looking for a good movie. But it does so much and it works on so many levels. So, that's my movie review for this week.
I had never heard of that until I think it was released, and it immediately everyone kind of came out of nowhere.
It's directed by Dan Kwan and Daniel Scheinert. They go by the Daniels. They've only directed one other feature film before. It came out a few years ago. I didn't even see the movie. It was The Swiss Army Man with Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe. That was their first feature movie. As I said, it came out of nowhere. It has
so it was the Daniel
Kwan and Daniel Scheinert.
And it was Paul
Dano
and Daniel Radcliffe.
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yes. A lot of Daniels and Danos in that first one. But yeah, this one, Michelle Yeoh's in this. She's the lead. Jamie Lee Curtis also plays a significant role in this movie. It's just really good. I had not heard of it really either until the past few weeks after it debuted at whatever festival that was a few weeks back. It went to a few theaters this week, and I believe it's going to open even wider next week. So if you're looking for something to go see in a theater coming up here, I'd highly recommend that. Ambulance was also the big release this week. I have not seen that yet. The Jake Gyllenhaal movie, Michael Bay movie. I'll probably get to that at some point, but has not happened yet.
That was a preview, I think, for either Spider-Man or James Bond, whichever. And we're sitting there, and in my head, I didn't say it out loud, but in my head, as the trailer's going, I'm like, this is probably a movie that's called like Ambulance or something like that. And then it popped up. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah. Ambulance.
I do have one thing. We finished the Flight Attendant series.
Oh, never watched it. I watched like one episode.
Yeah, you told me that you never got into it. It's different. It's not what I expected at all. We'll say that. But
it's not really a comedy. Like
it's not a comedy. Yeah, it's not a comedy, but there are some comedic vibes to it because it's like a crime drama with a little comedy in it. It was good. It had us entertained. And it's kind of like it's a whodunit type of show. Like what actually happened here. I enjoyed it. It's only 8 episodes on HBO Max, which it's now airing on TBS as well. So that was weird, but yeah, it was good. It says there's 2 seasons, so I don't know if it is getting another season yet. Yeah. So yeah, it was good.
Just started Severance on Apple TV Plus. I've heard a lot of good things about that. I'm a couple episodes in. It's good so far. Hopefully finish that sometime this week. That's Ben Stiller directed it. It stars Adam Scott is in that. And Patricia Arquette. Supposed to be really good. A couple episodes in. I'm enjoying it so far. But that's what I've been working on, as well as Winning Time and finishing up This Is Us and Moon Knight. Moon Knight is happening. I'm sure you haven't watched that.
Nope.
But it's been good. It's been good so far. So, all right, we've been going for way too long. We're going to wrap this thing up. Anything else that you want to talk about?
A couple things. Adam Schefter just released an apology, a 3.5-minute apology on his podcast. He tweeted it out. Apology to Dwayne Haskins and tribute to Dwayne Haskins. And a Cubs pitcher just got suspended.
Yeah, we didn't talk about the hit by pitch thing.
Keegan Thompson.
Yeah.
Suspended 3 games.
I didn't watch on Sunday, so I can't fully comment on everything that happened in that game. But in my opinion, the whole hit by pitch and retaliation and all of it is getting, I think it's out of hand. I don't know where the problem lies. The Brewers have hit the Cubs an obscene amount of times the past, I don't know how many years.
That's what I was going to get at. Over the last, I forgot how many years, but over a certain period of time, no one has hit more batters than the Brewers have hit Cubs. Second on the list is Cubs hitting Brewers.
It's just stupid. It's just stupid. And now here, Keegan Thompson, who's technically a second-year player because he pitched a little bit last year, hitting Andrew McCutchen, who's never worn a Brewers uniform before Thursday. And now that's what receives the suspension. Like, it's just stupid. It's all stupid. I hate it. I don't really know. I don't have a solution for it. I just think it's annoying. All right. We're going to shut this thing down. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Follow us on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. He's at Craig W. Choate. I'm at the Logan Lee. We are at No One Asked Us Pod. I would tell you we'll be back next week for another show. I do not know if that's happening. We have not even talked about this. At some point, we've talked about going on a brief hiatus. We don't really know what that's happening. So I don't know.
It's kind of like our off season.
This is going to, yes,
it's going to be our off season.
This is officially going to start our off season.
Sorry, it's so long, hour and a half.
Release things sporadically. If there's big Illinois basketball news, we'll probably do some sort of show for that. If there's baseball things we want to talk about, there'll be some sort of show for that. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness comes out in a few weeks. I'm going to want to talk about that. I'll probably post something about that, whether or not Craig watches it. I don't know. It may be a while before we have another hour and a half long show, or it could be next week. We really don't know. But either way, we're not going anywhere. We're just going to take a few weeks.
Tone it down
a little bit till we get revved up again. And when things happen, we'll talk about them. You don't have to worry about us. We're still going to be here. We're not going anywhere. If there are things you want to hear us talk about, text us, message us, tweet at us, comment.
Don't text us.
All that stuff.
Don't send our number out there. Don't text us.
I'm not texting anybody. I'm not telling anybody my number, but I know people will still text me and say, hey, you should talk about this. But yeah, that's it. All I'm getting at is that the next X amount of months might be a little sporadic just because we're going to tone it down a little bit. But I think that's going to do it for us for this week. Is this the end of season 1? Is our first season? This is it. This is the end of season 1. We have been renewed for season 2. I can confirm. But this is going to be the end of season 1 of No One Asked Us. It's been a very long year plus season. Yeah. But we appreciate everybody checking in, listening, watching, however you get your show, however you consume this. Thank you very much from both Craig and myself. Any last words for the folks, Craig?
See you in season 2.
For Craig, I'm Logan. We'll see you next time. Bye.